Hello everyone, welcome back to Code to CloudX. So in our previous video, we learned how to set up the Llama model locally and integrate it with a Spring Boot applications. So in today's video, we are going to look at another powerful way to run LLM locally, and that is by using Docker model runner. So this is the second approach through which we can locally access LLM models and use them in our Spring Boot applications. So this diagram shows how a Spring Boot application sends a request to Docker based LLM where the model runs locally inside a container and process the input and returns the response back to the application. Okay. Till now, we have been using Docker to run databases, servers, and applications, right? But what if I tell you we can run our own AI model inside Docker? So yes, you heard it right. So in this video, I will show you how to run a local LLM using Docker and how to integrate it with a Spring Boot applications. So if you are a Java developer or working with microservices, this video is going to be very helpful for you. So question comes, why local LLM? Why should we use LLMs locally instead of the cloud? So the reason behind is data privacy. So data privacy is very important. So instead of sending sensitive data to external API, we can run LLMs directly inside our system. As you have already used MySQL or Redis in Docker, so we can now run AI models inside Docker container. So now there are multiple ways to run local LLMs, including first one is Olama, which is simple and easy to use. And we have already explored Olama in our previous video, isn't it? Right? So I will share the link in description of my existing Olama setup and integrations with Spring Boot applications. And second option is Docker model runner, which is more production ready and DevOps friendly. So in this video, we will focus on Docker model runner and integrate it with Spring Boot applications. So before we start, first let's look at the prerequisites. So for this, we will check the official Docker documentation. For that, you have to go to this URL. And once you open this page, you will see all the requirements needed to run Docker model runner. So now let's understand the version requirements. So for Windows, you need Docker Desktop version 4.41 plus. And for Mac OS, you need 4.40 plus version of Docker Desktop. See requirements section below. Now scroll down the requirement section. Here you can see the supported platforms for Windows, Mac operating system, and Linux. And each platform has its own configuration requirements. So make sure to check them carefully. So don't skip the steps because proper setup is very important before running LLMs. Now let's move to Docker desktop. Okay. Now start the configurations. And one more thing, if you are new to Docker or want to learn it from scratch, I have already created a complete Docker series from installations to containerizations. So including both theory and practical examples. I will share the link in descriptions. Make sure to check it out. So now let's open the Docker desktop first and start the setup. So open setting you and here you will see a section called AI. Click on that. Here you need to enable the Docker model runner options and also make sure you have to enable the host side TCP support. And this is important because your applications like Spring Boot applications can communicate with Docker model. Now let's look at the port configuration. By default, port is 12434. So make sure this same port is configured because we will use it in our Spring Boot applications. Once everything is configured, click on apply, and after that you have to restart the Docker. In my case, I have already configured it, so we don't need to restart the Docker. So once Docker will start, we are ready to run our local LLM models. After completing the configuration, let's verify the setup. So for that, you have to open the terminal, click and run the command docker model version. So here I got the output. That means our setup is successful. Now let's run our first LLM model. So go back to Docker desktop and open the model sections in left hand side. Here you will see the multiple tabs: local, request, logs, and Docker Hub. Currently in the local tab, you can see there are no models available. So now go to the Docker Hub section. So here you will find multiple models. So for testing purpose, we can use models like PHI-4, we can use Mistral, or either we can use Gemma 3. Okay. So here Gemma 3 is a lightweight model from Google. So we can choose the version based on our RAM, CPU capacity, and Docker resources. So now if we will click on Gemma 3, you can sort the versions of Gemma 3 according to the size. So here I am choosing this one, this size, and here parameters is 999.89. So I will use this version of Gemma 3, copy this version and go to the command prompt. And here you will use this command docker model run AI/version Gemma 3. So I have already selected, so only you have to give the Gemma 3. So here if you will, after semicolon, if you will not pass this one, so default version will be latest one, this one. Default version will be this one, latest, and size is 3.1 GB. So it's not compatible as per my CPU and RAM usage. So I am choosing this one. So which is only I have to test the LLMs locally. That's why I am using these versions. So you can choose as per your CPU configurations and RAM, available RAM. So here you have to run this command. So if the model is not already available, Docker will automatically download it. So click on that. So unable to find model, so locally pulling from servers. Now the model has been pulled successfully and downloaded it, and download is complete. So the model will start automatically, and the model will take few minutes, either 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 5 minutes as per the model size. And now we can interact with it in the terminal. So let's ask a simple question. Who are you? Hi there, I am Gemma, a large language model created by Gemma team at Google DeepMind. So here you got the response of your locally running model. So you can verify the same in Docker desktop. So it's already pulled from Docker Hub. Okay. So now let's integrate this with Spring Boot application. Okay, so I am using the same examples what we used in our existing video to integrate with Olama locally. Only I changed the name. Okay, and here one important point, that Spring AI internally uses OpenAI APIs. Okay, so in pom.xml you have to use this dependency, OpenAI dependency, and in application.properties now go to application.properties file, and here we have to add the following configurations. So first we need to set the model name. So property will be spring dot ai dot openai dot chat dot options dot model equal to, so which version we are using, we can select this version, control C, and you can paste it. Okay, next we need to add an API key. So even though we are not using OpenAI, but this field is mandatory in Spring AI, so we can pass any dummy value in API key. So for that, spring.ai.openai.api hyphen key. So you have to pass any dummy value. So as it's a mandatory in Spring AI, you have to mention the key and it's any value, dummy value you have to pass. Finally, we have to set the base URL to our local Docker endpoint, and that is HTTP localhost 12434. So spring.ai.openai.base hyphen URL and HTTP colon localhost colon port. So we can copy the port. We can copy the port and paste it out. So this will redirect all requests to our local LLM instead of OpenAI. And that's it. Now I have to start our Spring Boot applications. So I start the applications in debug mode. Okay, now it's started on port 9191. So now our Spring Boot applications can communicate with a local AI model running inside Docker. So now let's test the API using Postman. Postman, and here localhost port is 9191 and API slash chat message, and here I am passing the prompt, who are you? So let's click on send button. Now you got the response from our local LLM models. Okay, so here we didn't use any external API. Everything is running locally. Got it? Apart from Spring AI, we can also use REST template or web client to call the Docker model directly. So in this approach, we don't need any dependency related to OpenAI, and we didn't need to configure in application.properties file. So directly you can communicate with, so using REST template, we can directly call the Docker model. Just I have created the REST template object. So here one difference between chat client and REST template. Chat client uses the base URL, and internally appends the required endpoint. Okay, but when using REST template, we have to provide the complete endpoint URL manually. So you can refer that example better understanding. I have uploaded the complete code on GitHub. You can find the link in the description and feel free to explore and try it on your own system. So in this video, we'll learn how to run LLM locally using Docker and integrate it with Spring Boot. If you found this video helpful, like the video, subscribe to Code to CloudX for more content like this, and comment if you want a full project setup. Thank you.